Hey, Grace Kids. I just want to check in today and be able to tell you about God creating the world. And when He created the world, it was good. And so we'll go over to Genesis chapter 1 here, and then we'll also go over to Colossians chapter 1, just to be able to talk to you about this. But when you're thinking about all of this, think about this. Maybe ask yourself this question: what is your favorite animal? Now, I like dogs, man's best friend. And as long as it's a good sized dog, not the ankle biting type. Even though I have an ankle biter at home, that's just because my wife likes ankle biting dogs. But we like dogs at home, and I always liked monkeys growing up. I don't know. There's other cool things. I mean, as you look at all over the world, animals are so cool. Um, Hippopotamus. I mean, those things are cool. And a lion, and I mean, all the animals that you think of, zebras, horses. I love riding horses. They're fun. But when you think about animals, it's very very cool. Now, when you think about animals, since you're at home and you need things to do, so you don't go crazy, get your parents and play Duck Duck Zoo. Now it's kind of like Duck Duck Goose, except for when you've got the person going around and patting the heads, and when they pick someone, you gotta pick an animal. Now, as soon as you pick that animal, like let's say dog, all right. As soon as you pick the animal, you say duck, duck, dog. As soon as you do that, and the person that you picked has to act like a dog chasing you around the circle until you get back into their spot. So hopefully they don't catch you. But it should be very, very fun and exciting, and your parents are going to not like me because of this game. But I mean, just think, it'd be so much fun to be able to do that. But think about all the animals. You might have a hard time thinking of what animal to pick. Maybe a cricket, maybe an alligator. But God created all of these. Isn't that cool? God created the world, and when He created it, He said it was good. Now, as you get into Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void. There was nothing, just God. He's eternal. And the darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God spoke, and it came into existence. And God saw the light, and it was good. Now, as you go through Genesis 1, you'll see that a couple of times, where God creates, and then He says, it's good. That's how it's supposed to work. It was a good creation. That's the way that God created everything out of nothing. So when you're thinking about this, ask yourself, who is God? Now, the answer, by the time we get done with this lesson, is hopefully you'll be able to say, God is our creator and king. Why? Because He created everything, and because of that, He rules over everything. But we'll get into that in Colossians chapter 1. But even thinking about this, here's another illustration. Sometimes my kids come to me and they say, "Dad, I broke a toy." Now, you probably have done that before. But what do? Well, Dad goes and gets different components that he has in his junk drawer, and he tries to fix it. He gets the glue, he gets extra screws that might have gotten lost, whatever it might be, and he tries to fix the item that was broken. Now, we dads have to fix things out of things that already exist, but God created out of nothing. Boom. He spoke it into existence. Man, sometimes I wish I had that kind of power. Then other times I know why God never gave me that kind of power. So as we get into this and we think more about this, there was nothing but God. God is eternal. He created the world, everything we can see and we can't see. He created our soul. He created the atoms. He created molecules. He created proton, neutron, all those things that just keep you up all night thinking about because of school. And so God created all of this. And think about it this way. There's some things that you could figure out about God in the midst of this. God is creative. Okay? He didn't make everything the same color. He didn't make everything look alike. He created things distinctly. He's organized. Man, you have a hard enough time organizing all of your toys, and yet God organizes the whole entire universe and makes it work. And he's powerful. Man, he speaks, and it comes into existence, and he's good. Our good God creates good things. So think about this too. I mean, he knows best on everything that he created, and he has the right to rule over all the things that he created. Now, if you ever created something, let's say you invented something and you build it, you want it to do what you made it for. Like a Lego car, you want it to be able to actually move on its wheels and to roll around so you could play with it. But does it ever speak back to you? I guess humans are the only ones that speak back to our good God who created us. And so when you come into this and you think, okay, he knows best, and he has the right to rule, he controls everything. And you say, well, what about Jesus Christ? Was he there? Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was there. If you go into Colossians chapter 1 and verse 16, now I got to look this up real quick, but it says here in Colossians chapter 1 and verse 16, it says, for by him, it's talking about Jesus. So was Jesus at creation? The answer is yes. Holy Spirit was at, the whole Trinity was there. The Godhead was there. But it says, for by him are all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth. Everything. Visible and invisible. So the things that we can see, physical things, and the immaterial things, the thing that we can't see. Air. You can't see air. You can see the effects of it. But God created that. The visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. So the fact of the matter that all the molecules in your body that hold together and make you, God's doing that. Christ is doing that. Christ was from the very beginning. Isn't that awesome? That you get to know more and more about him and how he created, and he's got a purpose for all of this. Even with you having to stay home for a few weeks during this crazy virus thing, he knows what's going on. He's got it all under control, and we can trust him. So, let me ask you this question as we close out. How do you know that God exists? Maybe you should ask your parents about it. How do you know that God exists? Well, simple answer is you could just look out over all creation and recognize that it had to take an intelligent designer in order to design the heavens and the earth. It didn't just happen by chance. It didn't just go boom, explode and there it is. God created the heavens and the earth. And so we can look out over creation and say, yep, the star's there because God put it there. Yep. The fact that I can even speak and hear and taste and feel, it's all because of God. That's how he made it. So that's how cool our God is. Thanks for listening, kids, and I hope you're able to understand a little bit more about our God, and stay sane in all of this. Hopefully you can play that game that I told you about, Duck Duck Zoo, and try to name all the animals and make sure that your dad is a gorilla or something, or a cricket or a praying mantis. Figure out something, but all the animals God created. Think about that. And it was good. We'll talk to you later.